Babies can be quite extraordinary, especially when they're born with unique features that set them apart from others. From a baby who was barely up to 25 centimeters long at birth, to a little girl who is almost as smart as Albert Einstein, here are some of the most bizarre babies around the world. Before we dive into this list, make sure to leave a like on this video. Also, if you would like to join this month's Star 5 giveaway of a brand new iPhone 13, then all you have to do is subscribe to our channel and watch this video until the end to find and comment the hidden message. Good luck! At number 10, Millianna Worthy. Millianna, like her mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, were all born with bi-colored hair. If she wasn't a little baby, we'd probably think she was super old. The unusual presence of a white streak of hair on her head is actually a genetic trait dating across 4 generations. It's a medical condition related to pigmentation in the hair, which means that the white section of hair has no pigment in the skin around it. Still, you could say that this white hair makes baby Millianna look incredibly unique, and that justifies all the extra attention. At number 9, Madden Humphreys. Oklahoma-born Madden has a rare condition where his eyes have 2 different colors. This is known medically as heterochromia iridium. Unfortunately, this made him a soft target for bullies in school, and he was often mocked by his peers. Luckily, Madden found a companion online, a cat on Facebook who suffered from the same condition. It wasn't easy to secure this cat, but Madden's guardians knew it would do him a world of good. So they made the 22-hour trip to Minnesota with Madden excited. They were able to get the cat through a fundraiser which covered his trip down to Minnesota. He has been living a less lonely life ever since with his new buddy. At number 8, Charlotte Garside. Charlotte Garside is popularly known as the world's smallest girl. At birth, she weighed a paltry 500 grams and was barely up to 25 centimeters long. Doctors didn't expect her to live past 12 months due to her size and because of the unusual nature of her condition, which had no name at the time. Later, doctors described it as a rare kind of dwarfism. Interestingly, she was dressed in clothes made for dolls because even the smallest baby clothes turned out to be too big for her. At 6 years of age, Charlotte was far behind her peers due to her poor mental state. Still, the young lady kept up with her desire to stay alive, no matter the odds stacked against her. At number 7, Hyomyung of South Korea. Born in 1989 at the time, Hyomyung barely made it to being a teenager. He simply stopped growing and retained his childish look, even though he continued aging. His condition is attributed to a rare syndrome called Highlander syndrome, a condition that makes the body age extremely slowly. Shin could be easily mistaken for a little boy, and that stopped him from living a regular life like the others around him. How would you feel about a little boy requesting a drink at the bar? Hyomyung always had to show his proof of age before being allowed to join any activity with age limits. He's fondly called the Peter Pan of Korea. Hyomyung's rare condition has not stopped him from trying to reach as much as possible to enjoy each day while being surrounded by his loving family. At number 6, Bayezid Hossain. Hossain was born in 2012 in Bangladesh with a rare condition known as progeria. It's a syndrome that makes a person look more than 8 times their actual age. At the age of 4, Bayezid looked more like an 80-year-old man. Of course, that meant he couldn't attend school with his age mates. His saggy and wrinkled skin scared the children of his age grade, who hardly wanted to associate with him. You can imagine how much trauma he had to live with at such a young age. Surprisingly, Bayezid's father revealed that the little boy was much smarter than a lot of children his age. Sadly, the chances of surviving this syndrome are pretty low. Most people with progeria don't live past the age of 15. They usually end up caving into heart attacks between the age of 13 and 15. At number 5, Tessa Evans. Could you survive without having a sense of smell? Well, that's the reality of Tessa Evans, who was born without a visible nose. This condition, called congenital arynia, also means that she has no sense of smell. Through a 3D surgical procedure, a printer was used to implant the appearance of a nose under her skin, and it looked as real as a fleshy nose. The plan was to make it take the shape of natural nostrils as soon as she stopped growing. Since she had no visible nose, that also meant not being able to breathe. But the doctors were able to find a way around this. As a toddler, Tessa had to live with a tracheostomy tube in her neck, which helped her breathe that much-needed oxygen to stay alive. She used this until she learned how to breathe with her mouth. Unfortunately, due to this condition, Tessa can't detect rotten food or even identify an offensive smell. Still, doctors believe that as she grows older, she would be able to rely on her other senses, especially her sense of touch and hearing, which will make up for her inability to smell. At number 4, Johncris Carl Quirante. Born in Cebu, Johncris is not your typical baby. He has more teeth than anyone in the world due to an extremely rare condition known as multiple hyperdontia. The strange thing here was that no one had any idea he was suffering from such a condition until the 4th grade. So imagine looking into the mouth of your child in the 4th grade, only to realize that he had more than 300 teeth. That can be very shocking. He subsequently went through a lot of surgical procedures to remove the excess teeth in order to prevent him from developing serious gum diseases and eating discomfort as he ages. However, removing the extra teeth isn't a procedure that could be done at one go. And this was the beginning of multiple visits to the surgical room, as it had to be spread through some years in order to allow him to heal after each teeth removal surgery. At number 3, Xianhang, the Chinese fish boy. Nicknamed the fish boy, Pan's rare condition has left him covered with scales like that of a fish. Initially, the scales were flat when he was born, but growing up has been rather difficult as he's been unable to sweat due to the growing size of the scale as he ages. Not surprising that Pan feels a lot of relief when he dips his body into cold water, as he rarely spends a whole day without experiencing itchiness all over his body. Unfortunately for Pan, the condition has been described as incurable despite a series of efforts by doctors to cure him of this condition. He regularly experiences unease while even sleeping due to severe pains from his overheating body. As rare as Pan's case may be, studies have shown that such condition is common in at least 16,000 children every year. It's considered a genetically hereditary disease and occurs mostly in male children than females. At number 2, Shiloh Pepin, the real-life mermaid. If you didn't believe that mermaids are real, well, it's time to have a rethink. Say hello to Shiloh Pepin, who was born with a mermaid-like syndrome known medically as cerenomelia. She was born with her 2 legs fused, which of course looks like the fin on fishes. So couldn't the doctors just surgically separate the legs? Well, they couldn't because of the unusual way the major arteries in her body were running through her legs. Performing surgery on her fused legs could turn into a huge disaster if it affected her body's blood flow. To worsen the situation, Shiloh was born with a single partially functioning kidney and had no bladder, uterus, or large intestine. Despite doctors' prediction that she would barely live up to a month after birth, she did live until 10 years of age after 2 kidney transplants and several other surgeries undertaken to enable her to have a prolonged life. Sadly, her body was unable to fight off pneumonia, and she succumbed to it shortly after her 10th birthday. At number 1, Elise Tan Roberte. Perhaps this will turn out to be your favorite kind of bizarre. Elise is assumed to be the most intelligent girl child in the world, with an IQ of 156, just 4 points below Albert Einstein's 160. Elise was barely a year old when she could count up to 10, as well as read her own name when written on paper. By the age of 2, she was already able to count the Spanish numbers and also recite the capital of all the prominent countries of the world. Could you do that even as a teenager? No doubt she's extraordinary. Elise was at some point subjected to a 45-minute-long IQ test in which it was concluded that she was more than just bright, she was gifted. And with that, we end today's video. Is there any other bizarre baby that you can think of that should have made our list? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and give us a like, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications so you never miss another video from Star 5. Thanks for watching.